All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Flux TV. Once again, I am your host, Carlin Hicks. We are here for round 7 of the 2021 Season 2 Flux American Sports Car Championship, running here at the world famous Laguna Seca Raceway in Monterey, California. As I said, your host, Carlin Hicks here. We've got a tremendous field, the championship coming down to the wire. We are looking forward. Slightly late start tonight, but we should be all right. I'm going to pull up the stream here. But we are very glad to have you with us. Get myself out of the race trim and we'll get on the monitors here shortly. All right, welcome folks, as we said, here at the world famous Laguna Seca Raceway for round 7 of 8 in the 2021 Season 2 Flux American Sports Car Championship here at Laguna Seca Raceway in Monterey, California. It has been a fantastic season and is very much still up for grabs. There are still at least 7 drivers mathematically eligible to win the Flux 2021 Season 2 ASC Championship, but comes down to the main 3 up front. We'll give you a rundown of them. As usual, a 20-minute qualifying session, and this, in fact, may be one of the most important qualifying sessions of the season. Laguna Seca is a notoriously difficult track to pass at. There are some drivers who say that this track is even tougher than the street circuit at Long Beach, as you're looking at NZ Jack going through the corkscrew. We'll talk about that momentarily. But definitely qualifying is going to be vitally important. So I think you'll see a round of guys getting a time in here early, coming back in, making a few adjustments, getting some fresh tires, and making a fresh run at the end. With the track temperature the way it is here, 87 degrees, the ambient temperature, 132 track. That is a hot track. It's probably going to be pretty greasy. Might get a little better when some rubber gets down, but as we've talked about in the past, when you get up past a certain temperature, sometimes that can actually be counterproductive, and you might see a greasier track when the rubber gets laid down. But we'll just have to wait and see. This is very much a track that you have to race the course, but being the penultimate race of the championship, you got to race the drivers, guys fighting for positions. The Flux Motorsport American Tour coming here to Laguna Seca. The Indy cars will be here tomorrow night, and we'll be joining you as well, same time, same channel here on Flux TV. Well, let's give you the rundown here as we begin qualifying of our current drivers in the point standings, how they're doing, as we traditionally do during qualifying. Those of you who have been watching the Flux TV broadcast, particularly the American Tour, have seen us do that, including some terrific European Tour races. Came over the pond to Road America yesterday in GT1 and put on a great show. I encourage you to check that out elsewhere on this Flux YouTube channel. All right, you are looking at the egg melt Corvette of our New Zealand driver and current Flux American Sports Car Championship points leader, NZ Jack. Jack comes into this race 158 points, holding a 14-point advantage over McToasty. And he has had himself a terrific season. Jack got his first career Flux Motorsport ASC win earlier this season at Long Beach, I believe. He has a total of 3 podiums altogether and 1 pole position, and has just been very consistent through 6 races, 3 podiums. He's been in the top half in just about every race, and has used that consistency to move him up to the top of the standings. He ran a full series last season, did not get the win last season, although he did well in the points. I believe he was in the top 5 or 6. But this season has come out strong, and with that consistency finds himself at the top of the chart. but he has got a little bit of breathing room, but not much at the moment, despite those 3 podiums over our second place competitor, the American driver Mick Toasty, in the Caporal number 27 Corvette, the American Sports Car Championship running GTE class cars, and heavily Corvette dominated, although we have seen some Ford success. We'll talk about that here momentarily as well. Mick Toasty coming in this season with the most in this race I should say, with the most podiums so far this season. He has 4 podiums in 6 races and is second in the points, 14 points behind at the moment, but surprisingly does not yet have that win. I was misspeaking, mixing up my IndyCar stats a couple times in earlier races. Mick Toasty has yet to get that first Flux American Sports Car Championship win. He has been on the podium several times, and as aforementioned, the most of anyone this season, and has brought him second in the points. But this is a track that I expect him to do well at. This Mick Toasty is a very technical driver, and he is for such a young driver, he is a student of the history of motorsport. He knows the significance of this place, which we'll talk about as well later. And I remember him from last season. He was on the podium. I believe he was second here last season at this race. And the second place finish last season could propel him. Is he ready to win here? He was very, very good a season ago, and we'll see if he can pull it together. He comes in needing to get every bit he can on the cars in front of him. Third place in the points coming in is the top Ford factory driver, the Ford GT of the European import, Taijo. Taijo, of course, 2 podiums on the season, but they are both victories. Taijo got Ford's first ever win in the Flux ASC at Willow Springs earlier this season in round 2, and managed to follow that up a few weeks later when I double check my stats. Yes, managed to follow that up a week ago at Watkins Glen. Why am I losing my brain cells, folks? Yeah, absolutely. Taijo got that second win of the season, second career win for him, and the second win for Ford overall in the Flux ASC a week ago at Watkins Glen. That vaulted him up to third in the championship. He is just 19 points back. He has been a consistent top half of the field and top 5 runner, but as I said, the 2 wins, but half as many podiums as Mick Toasty just in front of him. But those 2 wins have propelled him just 19 points back himself. And he needs a good run here today as well. He could definitely gain some ground. Those 3 are the 3 closest to each other, but not far back from them is the 4th place driver, and certainly the unofficial Rookie of the Year leader at this point, and that is just Piddlin in the number 50 McCool Corvette. Just Piddlin, a rookie this season, came in the traditional opener at Daytona, managed a runner-up finish, just a fantastic run, and has had himself a fine season. He has 2 podiums this year, both of them second place finishes, and has been a steady top half of the field driver otherwise. That has put him sitting on 124 points. That's 34 points behind Jack NZ in the points lead, which is about a total, with 35 points for the win, not including bonuses, just about a race total. It would be a tough stretch to get to the championship, though not impossible, but he's only 15 points behind Taijo for 3rd place in the championship, and we know what finishing on the season podium can do. It can lock you in to next season for the sign-up, so definitely a shot there. Just Piddlin Ajay, who I also believe could be knocking on the door for a victory. He's been running very well in that Corvette all season long, and we'll have to see how it goes. And now on to the driver coming in 5th place in the points in the number 2018 Paris Spirit Corvette, the defending race champion, and that is Super Crusher. Super Crusher got his first and thus far only Flux ASC victory 1 season ago right here in this event, and he comes back looking to duplicate that. If I recall correctly, he qualified in 3rd last season. I could be wrong, but This is a guy, as we said, we saw him develop throughout last season. This season, currently sitting 5th in the points. He does have, I believe, he does have a missed entry, sitting on 94 points. It'd be a little bit of a stretch for him to try to move up into a championship position, but by no means out of it. Plus, with damaged DNFs, you never know what can happen. You got to finish to score points here, and if the guys in front of him have trouble, he could move up. But I can tell you this, Super Crusher coming in here as the defending race champion, he's thinking about one thing, and that's defending that victory. Coming in 6th place in the points, meanwhile, is OGR Cat Guy in a number 3 factory Corvette. Not been the season Cat Guy has wanted to have just one podium in 6 races this season. He has been caught up in a lot of incidents, mostly of his not of his own doing. But I think the main factor, and Cat himself off air has told me in interviews on a couple of occasions that a lot of it here in the ASC has to do with needing to qualify better. He has been mostly mid-pack or below in terms of qualifying. Not too many top, front 2 rows, front 3 rows of qualifying. And he needs to get himself farther up to get out of the traffic, particularly at a place like Laguna Seca. Comes in 6th in points. He is within range, despite just the one podium, of moving into the top 5, just 2 points behind Super Crusher. So you know that he's thinking about that coming in and just looking to finish the season strong. It has not been the championship push he's wanted, but he's definitely looking to put it together. 7th place in the points is the other Team Paris Spirit car, the number 82 Corvette of Super Crusher's teammate and father, Revs Martin. Comes in 7th in the points, does not have a podium, but had a very memorable 4th place run at Indianapolis, I believe, at the Brickyard. And this is a guy also who started running late last season in a part-time schedule. This is his first full-time season in the ASC. And he has just been steadily developing as a driver. Just as Super Crusher starting to become a race and championship contender, Revs is starting to become a top 5 and podium contender. And I think Team Paris-Spheric has a bright future in the ASC. We'd love to see him elsewhere on the American Tour and in Flux Motorsport in general. I know they've run a few races over on the European side. We'd love to see him in the Indy cars and potentially the reinvigorated stock cars soon, because these guys have a good thing going here with this team. Revs right now looking to put a little better time together, just a couple seconds off the pace, but he's been a guy who's shown he can qualify near the back and just steadily work his way up and stay out of trouble. As I said, currently sitting 7th in the points. 8th place in the points is Deadly Hawk in the ready to be repaired in the garage before the race, number 92 factory Team Porsche North America. Deadly has been carrying that flag for Team Porsche North America since last season. He has been on the podium one time this season. I believe that was at Willow Springs, and he has just been steadily developing that car. I am a firm believer that the Porsches should be given a little more. I think that they should be a more competitive car, and I think he's done a great job of doing what he's done with it. He's been steadily contending for top half of the field, top 5, as we said, aforementioned, got on the podium at Willow Springs. And there are those who believe that Laguna Seca is a track that will fit the Porsche. I think he would benefit greatly from having a second factory car in the series that could bounce setups and ideas and whatnot off of. But he has done a fine job with that car. And as I said, currently sitting 8th in the points. So I did not see O'Brien. He was having some technical issues getting through inspection. We're hoping to see him in the next few minutes, sitting 9th in the points. And then rounding out the top 10 in the points is Muttley in the other Ford factory car, the number 8. Muttley is thrilled. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was in the podium last week in the IndyCar race, but has been still trying to get on the podium here. He's had a rough season. Muttley has spent more time in the garage getting repaired than just about anybody. He's finished every race, yet still is 10th in the points. That should tell you just about how much time he has been off. We'll talk through a couple of the other guys as well, but this is definitely going to be a fantastic show here at Laguna Seca. One of my favorite tracks to watch a race at. Not necessarily to drive. I love driving the track. I've never had much success here. I remember in the predecessor to this series, I managed to finish runner-up one time in the prototype class, and it was really a strategy thing, and I was over the moon to be able to do that at this track because it was very, very difficult. It's always been a difficult track to drive. We will give you a track walk here on the 2.2 miles, tight, windy 2.2 mile circuit here at Laguna Seca here in Monterey, California. See who some of our other entries are popping in. We got Mark C. Hard Luck Mark in the number 72 SMP Racing. I believe he's at Ferrari. Mark has been, he was actually racing Watkins Glen last week. He was right up there in the top two for a good portion of the race, good first half of the race, until he had his problems. This is a guy who you're just waiting for him to put it all together. And when he puts it all together, he will get that first win, get that first podium, and it's upwards from there. I speak not just out of a rah-rah cheerleader sense, I speak out of experience. I did it myself. It took me 3 or 4 seasons at the top level till I started winning and races and competing for championships. And is he losing it right there? He needs to put a little more rear downforce on that car perhaps, or maybe lower the front. Having a little bit of grip problems there is Mark. Ferraris are believed to be solid here at Laguna Seca. I've seen them do well here in the past in a variety of different series, but we'll just have to see if he can put that together. I think he's the only Ferrari in the race at the moment. We've only got 10 cars here at the moment, a number of late season absences, as well as O'Brien, who's fighting to get through tech inspection, but looks like he's losing the battle. Number of cars hitting the pits perhaps for one last set of tires and to come out on a light fuel load and make a run. But at the moment it is McToasty sitting on the pole looking for that all-important bonus point. McToasty has 3 pole positions in 6 races this season, so he has been Mr. Qualifying so far. And if he can add another bonus point, but just as I say that, NZ Jack pops back with a 4.49. Jack has 1 pole position himself, but these bonus points are definitely going to play out here in the championship. This is the point in the season where you really start to see the pressure. You know, who has been here before? As I said, I'm working on around 20, 21 seasons of racing and broadcasting at this level, and I've seen, seen it every which way of what guys have gone through, and the question is who can pull it together. And I think today it's going to be a lot about race day strategy. You need to get through qualifying here, figure out where you are, and play the hand you're dealt. You got 2 races to go this week, and then next week's a very difficult track, the Texas Motor Speedway combined Roval course, to close out the season. That's a track that's very much a wild card. So, I would try to just get a consistent good finish here this week, and then if I was going to have to roll the dice, you roll the dice in the final race. Get yourself within range of be within striking distance coming into the final round, and then you can go hell for leather and give it all you got. Right now, McToasty, as we said, 14 points behind in second place in the championship, yet to win a race both this season and in the series, and I know he's itching. He is definitely itching in that number 27 Caporal Chevrolet, the same sponsorship and factory ride my former team ran. McToasty getting it down to 5-1. He's at 5-1-4, so he's got one more shot at it. Taijo's not far off either. A little bit of a separation from the top three in the championship, who are also, they're actually, as you see them running in qualifying right now, 1, 2, 3, that is as they run in the championship. So we could have a pretty tidy little grid. Just Piddlin sitting there in fourth place, looking very well, and the race champion Super Crusher as of now only up to fifth. McToasty coming up to the corkscrew. This is where you can make or break it. Coming down the Rahal Straight. Into the corkscrew, which is basically like diving off of like a 6-story building. It is a drop. And the big thing is get off the throttle, make sure you're not adding spin, adding load to the tires. When you feel that grip hit it. All right, let's see if he's got it. The clock is out. He goes a little wide. Oh, I think he hit the track limits, and I don't think it's going to go. And it looks like NZ Jack's going to hold on to pick up his second pole of the season. Let's wait and see if anybody else has something for him. Super Crusher still on the track. He's done. Cat Guy. He's still out, but 1.2 seconds off the pace. Cat Guy said before the race, he was talking in the pre-race, saying he didn't believe he had much here at Laguna Seca, but he was going to count on consistency. I think if he can stay here in the front 3 rows and just try to stay out of trouble, that's what he's going to count on to move himself up. He's a crafty driver. Used to drive for me and the team that I ran. I'd like to say he learned at the feet of the best, but, he learned at somebody's feet. And whether it was good or not, we'll have to wait and see. It's how he applies it. It's not what I told him. Let's put it that way. All right, folks. So your starting order for Round 7 of the 2021 Season 2 Flux American Sports Car Championship at Laguna Seca. On the pole is the current points leader, NZ Jack, in the Egg Melt Corvette. A 1:19.449, his second pole of the season. McToasty, the second place in the points, second place on the grid. They will make up your front row. Taijo, 2-time race winner this season, top qualifying Ford. He will start third, starting him on the outside of him, qualifying fourth. On the outside of row 2 is the defending race champion here at Laguna Seca. That'll be Super Crusher in the Perispirit Corvette, starting fifth. A good qualifying run, putting it on a 122.260. Just Piddlin in the McCool Chevrolet. He'll be flanked on the outside of row 3 by OGR Cat Guy in the factory number 3 Corvette. Starting seventh, Deadly Hawk has that Porsche up to the 4th row. He'll be flanked on the outside by Mark C in the Ferrari. Starting on the inside of row 5 in 9th will be Revs Martin in the 82 Team Perispirit car. He'll be flanked on the outside of row 5 by the Ford of Muttley. And that will be your 10 cars, a small but tight field here at Laguna Seca. Gonna get ourselves in there. I know Deadly Hawk has that Porsche in there, getting a new front end put on it as we speak. Going to be a very interesting, I'm going to try to get onto the chase cam pretty quickly here because we're going to see the action probably more, better from the back. The viewers can give me their feelings on it, but coming up to the Andretti hairpin, you want to see the action. We're going to have to, it'd probably be better to roll through the field and try to see what we can see coming down. Then we can separate into the battles. Our cameras on the start have not been all that terrific at points this season. Excuse me, especially on a tight circuit like Laguna Seca. One of America's greats. It's a great MotoGP track, or was at one point. Great motorcycle circuit, great sports car course. It's hosted just about every type of American racing with the exception of NASCAR, and has been a long time stop for the predecessor, even before the predecessors to the Flux American Sports Car Championship. But we'll be back here again tomorrow night for the IndyCar Championship right here Looking forward to the track walk here. We've got the corkscrew is just dynamite to see. We're going to get you some in-car views of that. And it being round 7, the championship is on the line. And we are looking forward to this. NZ Jack going to be leading us down to the start. Jack and McToasty alongside. It looks like McToasty got some kind of penalty there. Let's get down to the back. Get on board with Cat Guy here as he's coming in from 6th place. Ooh, and he gets nailed by Deadly Hawk coming into the corner there. Don't know if Deadly Hawk got hit from behind. Maybe we can see if we get up on his car. Does not look like it. I think Hawk just lost it. But he punted Cat Guy into the kitty litter in the Andretti hairpin. So Cat Guy, hopefully that car not taking too much damage. But let's get back to the action. Looks like NZ Jack has taken the lead. Taijo in 2nd, McToasty in 3rd. Let's get a timing update. 5 seconds for McToasty. That's got to be some kind of jump in the start penalty. And you know he's got to be fuming in that car. 5 seconds right off the start of this race. Going to make him work extra hard here. On board now with just Piddlin. Get a little bit of separation here. Super Crusher in 5th. These guys basically running as they started with the exception of McToasty who fell back to 3rd. And I believe we lost the Porsche. I believe we lost the Porsche of Deadly Hawk. Deadly Hawk involved in that lap 1 turn 1 incident. I'm not really certain what happened. As I said, I don't think he got hit from behind. He didn't have any damage on the back of his car. But either way, he had kept going. I wonder if he had damaged the car too much or what the story is there or what it is. But either way, that Porsche is now parked in the pit lane. Probably just a brake lockup, I'm speculating, coming into turn 1 at the completion of the lap. At the end of after crossing the start-finish line. Happens to a lot of drivers here, but he locked it up real bad, but he's done already, and that's unfortunate. Deadly Hawk came in, 7th, 8th in the championship and really needed a decent points day to try to move up. He was very much within striking distance of even getting into the top 5 in the championship for the end of the season, but that's going to take a major hit, probably put that out. So we're down to 9 cars, which will open up some space for these guys on this tight circuit, much more so than a full 15, 16 car race would. Nonetheless, it is still a tight circuit. Get back to the trackside cam as NZ Jack taking out the lead. He's holding over Taijo right behind him and McToasty in 3rd with that 5-second penalty on the start dangling over him. But a long way to go, just a few minutes in on this 2.2 mile windy circuit. Cat Guy staying out, not making repairs. Imagining maybe a little body damage, but it's possible getting hit in the side like that wouldn't, you know, if you didn't take it right on the wheels, maybe you didn't take any suspension damage. Possibly feeling okay about it. Might try to keep driving it. We'll check in on him here momentarily. But unfortunate to lose Deadly Hawk like that. Very unfortunate. He's been holding, like I said, he's been holding the flag for that Porsche team for 2 seasons now, and we're damn proud of him for that. Let's get on board here with McToasty inside the cockpit of that vet. Yeah, small field, but hyper competitive at this point. On board here with McToasty. He's got cars in his rear view as well as just Pidlin's not far back. Pidlin might have picked up a 1 second track penalty. Well, we might see quite a bit of that here this week, or in tonight's race. I'm not sure. It can be very tough to be precise here at Laguna Seca, but you have to. And there's another thing that I feel you got to point out here when racing at. Oh, and Taijo loses it coming up through the Rahal straight. McToasty goes wide to avoid him, smacks the tires. That could have major consequences. Taijo losing it coming up out of the turn 6 into the Rahal straight. He falls back to 6th. McToasty's falling back to 4th as he smacked the tire wall, hoping he didn't damage that car too bad, but that's going to give NZ Jack a little bit of room to move here, a little bit of room to breathe, I should say, although he's got just Pidlin right on his tail. McToasty settling in just about 5 seconds back, but with the penalties sitting over him, that was just unfortunate. Taijo coming off of turn 6 there onto the Rahal straight, he lost it. McToasty taking some quick evasive action, got to the outside and just managed to make a little pancake smack on the tires. Hopefully that car is okay and he'll be able to keep rolling as he came out in 4th place. But this gives NZ Jack, the points leader, the clear advantage here. He's got 5 seconds on them. McToasty gets past. We got another car going back, and that looks like Super Crusher. Super Crusher has spun it. Coming out of turn 4 into 5, I should say. Yes, through turn 5. And he goes all the way to the back. So our reigning race champion having his problems now as he falls to the rear of the field. So we could see a lot of shakeups here before this one's over. Whew, folks, we are only 7 minutes in, 5 laps into this race. I thought I saw someone go flying. Am I just seeing things here? Folks, let's just try to keep up with all this action. The Super Crusher falling back. If he didn't damage the car, though, as I said, with all the rubber banding we might see in this race, who knows? McToasty all the way back up to 3rd now, so he's managed to avoid it. Taijo up to 5th. Let's hope their cars are all right. I didn't think Taijo took any damage, although it can't do any good to be flat spotting the tires with a spin like that. McToasty's the one you worry about after he smacked the wall. Looks like Cat Guy's going along okay. He's running solid pace after his early problem there, but unfortunate to see Deadly Hawk out. So Hawk, give us a report. Tell us what's going on. We hope you're all right in the car. That was that might have been a tough hit, but as it worked out, NZ Jack comes out in 1st place. He's got just Pidlin on his tail by less than a second. They've got about a 5 second, little less than 5 second gap on McToasty. As always, I refer you to the map in the upper right corner there. The arrow is the car that they're on. The white cars are cars on the same lap, and you can see the gap back to McToasty. But you're going to see a lot of rubber banding, a lot of changing over the course of the race. Make no doubt about it. Good time. It's just Pidlin, qualified in 4th place. He's managed to avoid all the brouhaha here in the first handful of laps and has come up into 2nd place. We discussed him being kind of a surprising, the main rookie of the year candidate, coming in 4th in the points here, has 2 podiums, both runner-up finishes this season, and when he's been able to put it together and keep the car under him, he has had some fine runs here in the ASC this season. And right now he's trailing the points leader and running with him. I'd advise him right now, and I think that looks like what he's doing. Just keep a pace here. Stay about a second back. Whatever you're comfortable with, maybe a couple of seconds. Save the tires. Excuse me. Wait to see if there's a mistake to be made. Because right now you've seen guys go rubber banding back and forth. We got problems with Taijo again. It's possible. Let's see if Taijo's banged up. He's stuck in traffic. He's back to 7th after he was up to 5th. Viewers pointing that out. The car looks okay, but he is definitely fallen back again, and that is hurting his... Ooh, as he goes aggressive into the corkscrew inside a cat guy, but goes so aggressive he goes inside on the dirt. I think Taijo might be being driving a little over his head, trying to make up for the early problems. That was an aggressive move, but it is a tight track. You know, you got to take your chances when you get them. We're only going to get, you know, roughly 100 miles, somewhere in the range of 40 to 45 laps here. You got to make your moves when you got the shot. And Taijo's wanting to get by Cat Guy, who's looking pretty good. That car, a little banged up in the front end. I don't know that that came from the contact with Deadly Hawk. But he's cruising along now in 6th. And Taijo is trying to move on Super Crusher now. This is some fantastic racing. Let's get on the chase cam here with him. Taijo, you Super Crusher to the inside there as they hit turn 5. Gives them the room. This is going to be interesting right here as they come up to turn 6. This is where Taijo lost it first time. Does a good job there as Super Crusher holds the preferred line coming up the corkscrew. Now he's got a fast car coming up towards the corkscrew, does Taijo. But it's going to be tough to get that going. You're looking at these cars right here. 5th through 9th are separated by just 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds right now. Rebs Martin all the way up to 4th place, meanwhile. We've got battling all over the track. Yeah, let's take a look at this line. We got Cat Guy in 5th, Super Crusher 6th, Muttley 7th, Taijo's 8th, and Mark's 9th right behind him. I think Mark's chase cam might give us a pretty good view of the whole thing. He's dead last on the field, but just 2 seconds behind 5th. Or dead last running. Dead last will be the car that started and did not finish in 10th. But nonetheless, he's coming up here as Taijo trying to get by his Ford factory teammate Muttley. Just trying to get back in this race. Now Taijo, this is the point where if you're at this point in the championship with if you're Taijo, you might be thinking, the way this group is, I'm looking at the timings thinking, if I can just get up to 5th or 4th, I'll at least stay close enough to have a shot going into the final race. And hopefully Jack has some problems. Jack and McToasty have issues themselves later in the race. There's a long way to go, 32.5 minutes. We're only 9 laps in. He makes the pass on Muttley. Great job by Taijo. He's got a fast car coming up, as I said before, to that corkscrew as he moves up into 7th. And Muttley will settle in behind them. Ooh, somebody went around, and I believe that's Rebs Martin. Rebs got all the way up to 4th place. I don't know if he had help, but he falls all the way back to 7th. Doesn't look like the car is any worse for wear, so possibly it was a solo incident, but he falls back from 4th to 7th. As I said, you're going to see so much rubber banding, there's no reason to be overly aggressive just yet. Save it for at least the last 15 minutes or so. As now Rebs is going to be under attack from Muttley and Mark. We got a number of penalties. Let's see how significant any of them are. The 5 seconds of McToasty still the most significant on the track. But meanwhile up front, let's see what we got here. We've got Cat Guy in 4th, Super Crusher in 5th. So you see what I'm talking about. Super Crusher qualified 5th, had that bad spin. Now with everybody else's problems, he's all the way back up to 5th again and about to take 4th as Cat Guy gets loose coming out of turn 4. But not quite. Cat Guy doesn't give it up. And as they head towards the corkscrew, he's still on them. There's going to be so much change on this race. You just need to keep racing the track. Keep racing the track and trying to put yourself in the best position. I think we're going to have a fantastic finish here. Now this right here, I'll tell you from experience, this right here is a major test of how far Super Crusher has come. He's in an identical car to a guy like Cat Guy, who is a veteran of many, many more seasons of this level of competition. He's got a car that's probably a little quicker than Cat. The question is, can he make the move here at the right time, make it stick, not get caught up in something, not lose too much time? Can he make the right decisions here? This is where a driver trying to become a champion, like Cat Guy has been a champion, this is where one of those yardstick moments for him. This is definitely one of those yardstick moments, especially now that Taijo is right back up on their tail. So Super Crusher now has pressure. This is a big moment. As we're just about to hit 30 minutes remaining, 15 minutes into the 45-minute race, 11 laps on the board. Got some brake lockup coming from, I believe that was the fronts of Super Crusher. Taijo's all over him now. Let's get into the cockpit of Taijo's Ford as he takes the inside line there. And he may have made the pass here on Super Crusher. He's got that preferred line coming onto the front stretch, and I believe he did. Yes, he did. So Taijo into 5th, Cat Guy into 4th. Super Crusher's got to gather himself now. He's got a teammate behind him, so he's probably in decent shape to gather himself back together. But still a long way to go as these guys continue battling. I don't want to miss anything here, but let's take a quick check up front. NZ Jack holding a couple of seconds there on Just Piddlin, as he has continued to lead from the start here for our points leader, looking for his second win of the season. Just Piddlin in second. Meanwhile, he is under pressure from McToasty, who has come back from his early problem there on the Rahal straight and is right back up to Just Piddlin. Keep in mind, though, that McToasty has a 5-second penalty on the grid on the start. Now, there's always the potential that penalty could be contested, and possibly the Flux officials could overrule that. I don't want to make any speculation on that from up here, but I would race this race, and I'm going to call this race as though he's working on a 5-second disadvantage, because that's what's on the board. So he knows he has to get up there, but he has been steadily making up time. Not on this last lap, but you can see these three right on top of each other as well. NZ Jack just cruising out in front, and probably needs to stay smart, take care of the tires. He knows that he may need to use those tires later on. We're getting close to halfway, and he's going to need those tires. All right, meanwhile, Cat Guy, Super Crusher, Taijo, these guys are going at it tooth and nail. You put the camera on Super Crusher, because Taijo, he's not playing, as they say. Super got Taijo, but Taijo's coming right back. These three, this is one of those positions where the worst place to be is the one in the middle. You might have got it back, but it's impossible to defend the position and also attack. That's why it's tough to be with 3 rather than with 2. And here goes Super to the inside. He's going to make the pass, but can he hold it? Ooh. They are right on top of each other and driving like pros right now. I want to get the track walk done. And Taijo, you're a 2-time winner this season. So we're going to get in the cockpit as he comes off the final turn down the straightaway. You want to build up as much speed as you can coming uphill and kinking to the left as you head down to the turn 1 and 2 Andretti hairpin. You want to stay to the inside. If you have the room, you can wash out a little, but that's about the best way to take it, the way you saw Taijo take it. Now as you come down to turn 3, to the outside, it's going to be off camber, pushing you out to the left. He gets off the throttle early with the traffic. Same deal here coming through turns 4 and 5. Wants to push you off into the sand as we get going. I'm going to talk about the sand a little after I complete the lap here. Now through turn 5, hard left-hander, a little bit of a banking that helps you get through this corner, but that is just sets you up for the very difficult turn 6. That's where Taijo spun earlier and McToasty almost got into him. Right there, very difficult as you climb, though. This is where Taijo's been very good. Up the hill towards the corkscrew. Now watch the fall away on the corkscrew. All the way to the right, all the way off the throttle, downshifting, all the way down like a roller coaster. You are actually looking at sky for a moment there, taking a leap of faith. Now this is a very difficult section that is underrated. Got to get hard back to the right. It's tough getting on pit row there if you have to do it hard. Multiple, more than 180 degree turn as he comes back onto the front stretch, and Taijo just took us on a lap at Laguna Seca. But one of the things I was going to talk about with the live track, I talked earlier about with the track temperature this hot, 131 degrees on the asphalt, as Taijo puts some move on, Cat Guy gets a little loose. Can he hold it? They are side by side. I think Taijo might have it, and he does. He moves back into 5th place. So Super's up into 4th, Taijo into 5th, Cat Guy back to 6th. And looks like we missed Toasty, just got piddling up front. Just piddling, falling back just slightly, so we'll keep track of that. McToasty now into 2nd place. And NZ Jack's going to have his eyes, but this is the battle on the track at the moment. Cat Guy, Taijo, they've separated a little bit, so let's get back up to NZ Jack, who now has a little bit of a breathing room on McToasty as we are nearing the halfway point here at Laguna Seca. But what I was saying is as much as I talked about the rubber buildup, as you can start to see the rubber buildup there in the Andretti hairpin with the track this hot, is the sand buildup. Laguna Seca, just like Willow Springs earlier this season, you're going to see a lot of sand get pulled onto the track, particularly in spots like there and right here where guys have been off track, and you feel it in the car, and it can cause you to slide a little, especially the later and later we get into this race, and you try to make a move under braking on somebody there, and on old tires, on a sandy track with hot rubber sitting on hot asphalt, this can get very sketchy on one of the tightest tracks on the circuit. This is the point where you start thinking, I'm glad I got track position, or I wish I had got track position already. Let's get inside that Ferrari for a moment of Mark C. He's sitting in 8th place, chasing 7th place Revs Martin as they're battling for position right now. Really not that far back here, as we are about 30 seconds away from taking the cross flags. We're going to end up doing roughly 70 miles, a relatively short race distance here at Laguna Seca. With Mark C. purring along with that Ferrari, keeping it out of trouble so far. We'll see what his lap time is here relative to Revs Martin, and if he's got a shot to catch him. They're still not that far back. It wasn't that long ago Mark was up there with that top group. Let's see what he's got. Those guys in the 122s. Mark had a problem that lap and ran a 125.1, so we'll keep an eye on him. He's got Muttley not that far behind him either, running 9th, looking to run him down. Everyone in the field here within 30 seconds at the halfway point. So this has definitely been a very, very tight race. And what it means is every mistake is going to be absolutely crucial. Every mistake is going to cost you so much. But running through the order, we've got NZ Jack, the points leader, currently sitting out in front, sitting a 1.5 seconds ahead of McToasty in 2nd. Just Piddlin is sitting in 3rd place. Super Crusher is in 4th, and Taijo sitting in 5th. We have taken the cross flags into the second half of the race. We said, please don't forget to press like and subscribe. Help support our channel. If you'd like to become a driver, go to www.fluxmotorsport.com. Press the driver sign up button to join our Discord. We'd love to see you out there. 2021 Season 2 winding down, but Season 3 coming shortly. Yeah, this was pretty much how it played out. Good point there, Ruben's making. McToasty was 2nd here last season when he was chasing Super Crusher. Was in a very similar position. He had the faster car at the end, but couldn't make the pass. It's tougher to make that pass at the end. You've got, older tires. Your tires are worn out. The track is old. You know what I mean? The rubber's been laid down. The dirt, the sand is out there. You see him right there, struggling through the corkscrew and losing about a second and a half there to Jack. So with that 5-second penalty looming over him, McToasty has got to be feeling the pressure. I mean, he can take this and would still come in well within range of racing for the championship next week. But with the way Jack's been running, you know, he's got to feel he needs to beat him. He needs to make up ground on him. And right now, Jack hasn't put a wheel wrong. Just piddling back in third, just 4 seconds back. He just ran a 1:21.8, solid lap there for him. We've talked about his consistency. He would love to get on the podium a third time or a second time this season. Is it second or three? I believe I might have said he had 2. No, I believe he has 2. Hang on. Double check my stats. Yeah, it's two runner-up finishes for Pidlin this season, so he's got 2 podiums. Looking to get that third podium. He's had a great rookie season. I mean, he's my pick for Flux ASC Rookie of the Year, and he's got a sizable lead here on Super Crusher and the rest of that pack. Obviously wants a shot at a win, and he's very much within range to do so. It looks, oh, McToasty lost it. Looks like McToasty lost it. You got to believe there's a problem with that car now. Could just be tires here at the halfway point. But we remember McToasty hitting the tire wall on the Rahal straight as he avoided Taijo's spin. So Toasty could be having problems with that car. If he had any suspension damage, that could accelerate tire wear. That car, that front end looks loose. Now I'm wondering if that's graphic. And I don't know if McToasty is one of those who watches the broadcast as he's racing. He has the concentration that makes me seem like he's not. But a flash of the lights would tell me that front end is dangling off on him, because I think it looks loose on that left side to me. I don't know if is it the front end loose or is it just the hood loose. Either way, there's air getting underneath the left front end of that car, and that cannot be helping, particularly on turns like that, particularly on a left-handed turn. He's back to third place now, and he's going to try to regather himself and get back on just piddling, but that car just does not quite look right to me. This is where he's had trouble here in the corkscrew. You see that front end right there, that front end lifts off the ground on the right side. It was not doing that earlier. Now, that could just be tire wear and the loss of grip, but that tells me something different is going on with that car. Nonetheless, he's catching up to just piddling, because Piddlin appears to be cruising right now, but he needs to get on it. McToasty's right back on him as they're battling for third. Getting late in the race, we got to go with this. Let's take a look on the cockpit of McToasty and see what he's seeing, see how he's fighting that wheel, what the car's doing. He's just trying to grab every point he can, as is Taijo. We want to get back to his battle as he's trying to scratch every point he can. Looking for it right here on the, we want to see it in the corkscrew, we want to see it in the left-hand turn. Toasty's so smooth, it's hard to tell. But we're seeing that right front lift up. Car seems light to me. Let's see what happens coming here through the corkscrew. He's very conservative with it. See that car, he caught it that time, but I'm just seeing something with the way that car's handling that maybe I'm wrong, but if he's getting air underneath that front edge, it's definitely affecting the downforce. Nonetheless, he is right on McToasty. We've also got a battle here as Super Crusher trying to hold off Taijo for 4th place. Cat Guy's back to 6th. Rebs Martin in 7th. He's barely holding off Mark in 8th. And Muttley's back in 9th. Everybody's close, so this is by no means a done deal. 16 minutes to go, working lap 22. NZ Jack now has 6.2 seconds to work with on these guys. Jack getting his first career win in the Flux ASC earlier this season at Long Beach. Ran the part-time schedule last season, was really looking forward. It was his first win in Flux overall at Long Beach, and he's definitely would be amped up to get that second win. But more importantly at this point, just extending that points lead heading into Texas. By no means can clinch it, but can give himself, he won the, as we said, he won the pole, took a bonus point there. That would stretch the point lead to 15. Now if McToasty was third, that would bring it to 23 or so, and would put him in a position where, what is it, maybe a 7th, 8th place finish would clinch it at Texas next week. So we'll see. Mind you as well, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UK time, the Flux American Tour returns. We'll be getting out of our haulers in the infield, shaking off the dust, and bringing out the Indy cars for the Flux IndyCar Championship Round 7 here. As McToasty makes the pass in the Andretti hairpin, just piddling, goes a little wide. Decides to keep the car underneath him. He's going to try to make another. He also knows McToasty has that penalty he's working with, so maybe he's playing conservative there. But just piddling, sitting in third place now, as these guys got to be fighting it. We're going to get our way back to that, but right now, NZ Jack, your race leader in the number 5 Egg Melt Chevrolet, coming through the corkscrew right as those guys are coming onto the Rahal Straight. Looking very smooth. That car, not a mark on it. Now a good time. Let's take a look at who's got the fastest lap at this point. 123.3, 121.2 for Super Crusher, 126 for 120.621 for Taijo. The currently fastest lap by quite a bit, so that could help a little bit getting that point back. But Taijo back in 5th, going to take a hit in the point standings if he stays back there. These guys are falling back quickly. McToasty's back to 3rd again. Missed that looking at Jack with a 125. That was a small off, about 3 seconds. Nonetheless, he gives the spot back up to just piddling again, and the ping pong continues. Let's check in here. Get our drone camera on Taijo in the Ford GT as he is trying to get past Super Crusher. Super Crusher not looking like he's going to be able to defend that race championship from a season ago, but currently sitting in 4th place. And Taijo needs every point he can get. Just trying to stay within striking distance in the championship and or secure a podium finish in the season's championship. I think Taijo's clearly been the fastest car here. As we said before, Laguna Seca is one of those tracks where the Chevy dominance might not quite, might not be as much of a thing, but he's had one too many incidents, or at least the spin hurt him definitely, but I think more importantly in traffic. He's had a lot of problems with traffic, and that's been the main issue here. So even if he gets by Super Crusher, he's still 10 seconds behind McToasty, so he's still looking to get something out of here. Yeah, that wing is, no doubt about that, Ruben. We get a call from the viewer there. The wing looks a little wonky, and that's definitely on the left-hand side. That's going to hurt the downforce. And I think that that says a lot about Taijo as a driver. He's got 2 wins on the season, but he has a couple other drives like this where he's had a car that's been less than perfect, and he's still managed to get a top 5 out of it. And that to me speaks volumes. That's a championship driver, and right now That car cannot be handling beautifully with a wing looking like that, but he is grinding away and trying to get past that Chevy of Super Crusher and pick up a few more points. They're battling for 6th place back here as Cat Guy and Revs Martin, Team Perispiric, has got their hands full today as Revs getting close up right there. These guys only 39 seconds back from the leaders. And they are all over each other. Wanting to get a check in here with McToasty and Just Peddling pretty soon, as they've lost quite a bit of ground to Jack at this point, as we have got about 10 minutes remaining here at Laguna Seca, working lap 26 here. Cat Guy working with a little bit of front end damage. He took it right away, qualified in 6th, got hit in turn 1 in the first couple minutes by the Porsche. And at the moment, it appears that he's been able to handle the car. He's run laps fairly well, but right now the 123s, 122s, earlier on he was running right about with the leader's lap times. Now there's usually a pretty simple explanation for this. When you got some kind of aero damage, something like that, anything, if anything went wrong with the car, it forces you to work harder on the wheel, and it's going to increase the tire wear. And I believe what you're seeing now is Cat Guy's tire wear increasing towards the end of this race, and he is fighting that car. You can see it as he and Revs Martin battle for 6th place. That is an intriguing battle, but we've got another one in 8th place that looks good, but we are looking up towards the front where there's the battle for 2nd. However, with those penalties, it looks like Just Piddlin might be in the better position. These cars still staying quick with the fuel burn off. I don't believe doesn't look like anybody's has any type of fuel issues. If they do, everyone will, which would be quite interesting. I would love to see a mad scramble at the finish, but who knows? All right, McToasty's back on Just Piddlin. Battle for 2nd. These guys do have timings. Ooh, and Just Piddlin moving to the inside. He's out of the way. I don't know if he's just not fighting them because of the penalties or because of or what it is, but he has definitely not been attacking aggressively. Doesn't really have to. Just Piddlin. Oh, the penalties are huge now. Just Piddlin has 3 seconds of penalties. McToasty now up to 14, so he's picked up more than just the 5-second grid penalty. There are no other significant ones. Mark C working on 3 seconds, Super Crusher working on 3 seconds. But with that 14-second penalty, Just Piddlin, all he needs to do is stay within 11 seconds of McToasty, and he will be in 2nd place. So right now, it's a moot point. And that also, with a 14-second penalty, becomes interesting because that means McToasty is no longer ahead of Super Crusher or Taijo either if those penalties stick. Now, get on McToasty here. We'll have to see if any of that gets contested, but if they don't, and he has an 11-second penalty, as it sits right now, he'd fall from 2nd to 5th. And that would lose him a ton of ground to NZ Jack, and would lose him ground even to Taijo. So this could be a major, major storyline here in this championship heading into next week at Texas. Super Crusher still trying to hold off Taijo, although he's got a small penalty to work on himself. But these guys have to realize they could be moving up. Super Crusher could be racing for a podium spot right now, as opposed to for 4th place. So let's see how all this plays out over the final few minutes here at Laguna Seca. Even at the back here, Muttley's got a race going on with Mark C. We'll try to keep track of all of it. NZ Jack, meanwhile, squeaky clean. No penalties on the board, not a mark on the car. He's 10 seconds out in front. Still running ultra competitive lap times, looking for his 2nd career win and 2nd of the season, and looking to extend that point lead. McToasty behind him, trying to hang with him. running in second, but he needs to start worrying about the clock and hopefully building up a bit of a gap to the guys behind him. There's going to be a lot of shakeups at the end of this race. Super Crusher and Taijo still at it. They might be racing for a podium spot right now. Cat Guy and Rev. Well, let's go with Super Crusher and Taijo as it's a podium spot they're racing for. Down to about 5 minutes. It's been an entertaining one, despite the fact that NZ Jack has led all 30 laps from the start with a pole position. I said we'd see a lot of shakeups. You're probably going to see it tomorrow too. Alright, sorry about that. Little audio mix-up. Yeah, Taijo's tearing it up. He's down 121.0 that last time. He still, I believe, has the fastest lap bonus coming to him. But this race is, you're going to see these orders shake up once they cross the line. The only thing I'm sure of right now is that NZ Jack is in a position to get his second career victory and second win of the season. It's been that type of season. We talked about it earlier in the season. There was going to be a shakeup. You know, there was going to be a lot. The defending champion CDN Trooper won the title, didn't win a race till the final race of the season, so it was wide open last season, and then he did not put together a package, did not field an entry this season, running over in the European Tour, and we knew it would be wide open, and it has been just that. We've seen Ford win 2 races with Taijo. We've seen a couple of race wins. You know, we've seen a race win from Jack. We've seen Bruce Law come over, we've seen the emergence of. We've seen Dale the Whale get a win. We've seen Just Piddlin emerge, although he hasn't won a race. He's been right there. It's been that kind of season. And it is going to come down to the final race, but NZ Jack has put himself in a position where it's going to be his to lose. If it finishes the way it is, he's going to come in, I'm not going to give an exact number, but somewhere in the range of outside of the top 5, needing a finish of, you know, somewhere between 5th and 10th, depending on how this shakes out, to guarantee the championship. So he's in the position to do it, to win the Flux American Sports Car Championship, and you gotta like what you've seen from the guy. Cat Guy and Rev still racing for 6th place. It's Cat Guy fighting that car, and 6th. I don't know that they're going to be close enough to be affected by any of those penalties. This might be just their straight racing for position. But these two have not stopped going at it either. We had a small starting field of 10 cars, 9 still running minus the Porsche. But it's been an entertaining race. It'll be an entertaining one tomorrow night when the Indy cars get here. All right, clock winding down here. Coming down to the corkscrew is NZ Jack. I don't know if we're going to get another lap here, but this would be it. Working lap 33, this might be it. NZ Jack got his first career win in the Flux American Sports Car Championship at Long Beach earlier this season. Comes back here to California and looking to pick up that second win, and it looks like he is going to do so. He is going to extend his points lead. NZ Jack triumphs in the Flux American Sports Car Championship at Laguna Seca. All right, racing, we'll see how they finish out for position. Taijo trying to get by Super Crusher. He thinks he might have the spot. These two are going to drag race for it. Super Crusher's not going to give it to him, no. Hard-nosed racing. He will cross the line first, but we don't know where that's going to finish out. What about Cat Guy and Revs Martin? They're still coming down to the finish. Coming into the corkscrew, Revs takes it deep. Takes it real deep, but nowhere to go with it. Excellent driving on the part of the Perispheric driver there. I think everyone here has run a hard, strong race, but it looks like Cat Guy is going to be able to hang on to that 6th place spot. Mark and Muttley are still running out to the finish, but NZ Jack is the man of the hour. The New Zealander, regular here on the Flux American Tour, and we love having him, getting his 2nd win of the season and the 2nd win of his career. It's going to extend his points lead. How much we won't know, but let's get your final results for the 2021 Season 2 Flux American Sports Car Championship Race 7 at Laguna Seca. Your winner, NZ Jack, came in the points leader, took the pole, took the victory, led all 33 laps. Just a fantastic performance from him. After all the penalties timeout, coming home in 2nd, his 3rd podium, 3rd runner-up finish of the season, just piddling in the McCool Chevrolet. A solid run for him coming home 2nd. Taijo, after all the early trouble he had, managed to come home on the podium. Taijo driving that Ford GT up to a 3rd place finish, a 120.621, keeping himself within striking distance of the championship heading into next week. Super Crusher couldn't defend his race win from a season ago, but brings it home in 4th place. And McToasty, bad luck, 14 seconds worth of penalties, and comes home in 5th. So he's going to take a hit in the points. He'll still be mathematically there, no doubt, but they're going to be chasing NZ Jack next week. OGR Cat Guy holds on to finish in 6th place. The other team Perispheric car of Revs Martin drives home in 7th. A clean, solid run for Mark C. brings it home in 8th. Muttley comes home in 9th, and retiring early with damage, Deadly Hawk will not score. All right, so we have wrapped it up here at Laguna Seca. It's been a fantastic night of racing. Congratulations to NZ Jack for his 2nd win, just piddling in. Taijo getting on the podium. We've had a fine race, fine night of action. We will see you tomorrow night when the Indy cars come right back here to Laguna Seca, 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UK on Flux TV. Check us out at fluxmotorsports.com, and we'll see you tomorrow night.